Yesterday, a few hundred Iranians and other supporters gathered here because they were scared for the future of Iran and the potential for there being a nuclear attack. So everyone woke up this morning and was feeling relieved, but then within a few hours we realised that the ceasefire was already falling apart. Lebanon was heavily bombed, a few hundred people have died, and Iran has also been heavily bombed by America. So we have to ask, why did Trump agree to this ceasefire deal in the first place? If it was an off-ramp, what was the point? What's going on? Is there some manipulation of the markets going on?
When the Pakistani Prime Minister spoke about the ceasefire, he said it includes Lebanon. The Americans didn't say anything, and only later today they announced that it doesn't include Lebanon because they got their instructions from Netanyahu.
All Iran has to do is to stand its ground and stand firm, and victory is soon to be achieved by Iran. So long live Iran, long live Palestine, long live Lebanon, and thank you again for coming.
They attacked Tehran in the morning as well. So the Israelis are like that. That's exactly what they do. And the Americans are not to be trusted either. They started both wars while negotiating. So who are we talking about? War criminals that don't keep their word. And obviously Trump was looking for an out-ramp, and he sent the Pakistanis to arrange it. But the minute that he says, okay, peace, across the world and everything is lovely and so on, they allowed the Israelis to continue. So he doesn't need to attack himself with US forces, though that will happen as well, I'm sure. But he uses Israel as the chaos engine, and Israel is attacking everyone around.
I mean, even if Israel aren't supported by America, how long could they continue by themselves? They'll have a backlog. You were just telling me that America has just rearmed them. If you could tell people about that.
Well, obviously, the Israelis have run out of intercepts a few days ago. Not just their own intercepts, like, Iron Dome and Arrow and so on, but they ran out of the American intercepts. But there is a shortage of intercepts. And what the Americans are now doing is going to all the countries in Asia and Europe that have intercepts, and they collect the intercepts from them to send them to Israel. Some of the countries gave up the intercepts, like South Korea. They gave all of them. They didn't like it, but they were frightened of the United States. They gave them the intercepts. Other countries said, no, it's ours. We paid for it, and we're not giving it. So there is a crisis now in Israel, especially on intercepts, but also on parts for F-35, parts for the tanks. Hezbollah has finished about 140 to 150 tanks. This is billions of pounds. But more importantly, it's hundreds of dead soldiers. When a tank like this goes up in smoke by an IED or a missile, 4 or 5 people are hurt. Most of them will die because they can't get out of the tank. So Israel is in a very bad way, and yet they don't stop. They get nowhere in Lebanon, but they kill people. Exactly what they did in Gaza. They couldn't defeat Hamas, but they went on killing people that have nothing to do with Hamas. That's exactly what they do in Lebanon. And Trump will probably allow them to take over, if they can, the south of Lebanon with foot soldiers and with tanks. At the moment, they can't go in. They're sitting on the border, like 1 kilometer from the border, something like this, and Hezbollah is stopping them from going any further. So I think the whole thing is mad, you know. They're not going anywhere, but they kill people. And that's they're very good at, especially children and women. They're very good at killing people who are not armed. So this will continue.
Yeah. I mean, Leif Maruf, what I listened to from him today was feeling very positive about this initial ceasefire. I mean, this was in the morning, or maybe he recorded it last night, not sure. But he felt that Hezbollah could overrun the IDF in no time, potentially.
Well, I think it will take some time, but Hezbollah is definitely winning, like the Iranians are winning, in the sense that the Americans ran to Pakistan and said, arrange a ceasefire, please, quite quickly, you know. Pakistan has not acted on its own, initiative. This was the initiative of Trump, and he wanted it quickly. And that's why there was no time to discuss details with Israelis, because they will delay the whole thing. So the whole thing was decided very, very quickly. And he even agreed to discuss the ceasefire on the 10 points that Iran has put in.
Yeah.
So that gives you a very clear impression that not only was he in a hurry, he was panicking. So, yeah. Iranian terms, Pakistani terms, Israeli terms, let's have a ceasefire. He didn't go into details. Only before lunch, he came up and said, it doesn't include Lebanon, because obviously Netanyahu said to him, we haven't heard you say it doesn't include Lebanon. So the whole thing is very panicky. The Israelis will not hold to it. Maybe the Americans will not hold to it. And there are also attacks from the GCC. There was one attack from the GCC on a place near Tehran, and the Iranians shot back. And they said two things. If Lebanon is not included, there's no ceasefire. And if Israel and the GCC and Saudi are shooting at us, there's no ceasefire. So it can break any moment. But just to remind you, there was a ceasefire in Lebanon for the last 16 months. There was not a day that Israel has not shot at people and killed people. Not a day. Hezbollah didn't shoot, but Israel has shot every single day in this ceasefire. So ceasefire is you seize, we fire.